Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie Valkenburg-Gibson. I work as a senior software developer at Finalist, and I've been working with Drupal for 14 years. Well, been to several DrupalCons since then, and the last one was in Amsterdam, which happens to be my hometown also, and I also have good memories of Prague and Vienna. But this is the first time that I'm allowed to talk on a DrupalCon. And of course, I would like to thank my employer for giving me the space and time to speak here. So I have to switch some windows. Oh. Yes. So what is this about? Well, searching. It is one of the most interesting developments in recent years. And I think we live in a huge complex society where we are overwhelmed with information on a daily basis. And despite all efforts, the more information that comes our way, the more difficult it becomes to find what we are looking for. So this talk is also about searching, a search for the possibilities, and hopefully we will gain more insight into them afterwards. Well, wait, next slide, yes. Of course, this is going about Elasticsearch and Solr, but there is a much more available these days. So I thought it would be nice to have a quick look at what else is on the market. And according to slants.co, which is a community-driven review platform where they give accurate reviews on a huge number of subjects, and they're all ordered in clear categories, so that's a very nice site to go. And I picked some random alternatives, and they had these recommendations. First of all, Amba, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but they had 3 positive reviews and 0 negative. I see a typo over there too. It's a very clear and neat search engine, if you ask me. So I'm opening it here now. So if you see it, they have a nice clear view. You can also, it's all for free. You can get a live demo. And then, of course, it's not, I just checked it, but I can't reach it. Well, that's always, that's Murphy's Law, of course. But if you want to check it out, you should really do it. I think I'm going to check it myself, maybe in deep some other time, because it looks very good, and you have a lot of options. Well, sorry, but the demo doesn't work. So far for Amber. Then we also have Algolia. They have 9 positive reviews and 1 negative. If you go there, this is actually they have a pricing table, so you can have it for free, but then you're limited to well, a lot of things. But it also looks very yeah, how do you say it, very neat, and well, it's worthwhile trying it maybe if you have the time or interested. That's Algolia. And then we also have Eloquent Object Relational Mapping, and they have 2 positive reviews and 3 negative, and this is actually Laravel related. So if you go there, there is a lot of documentation for this. So I checked some recommendations for it. The pros are, for example, they have very good documentation. Someone says while it's hard to find, the Laravel's docs and API documentations are very good. They have a very large community. Sometimes your issue can be hard to find, but certainly it was already answered before. Well, and the cons are too much magic methods, the debug hell, low performance. Eloquent tries to do too much magic. It gets slower than some concurrents, and no own data mapping. You got to install plugins to be able to map your Eloquent models, or you can use mutators that results in very ugly model classes. So, well, and there are actually a lot more alternatives, but I thought let's keep it to those three. And now let's go further with some brief history of Elasticsearch. Well, Elasticsearch actually all happened with the recipe app. Because actually it was created by Shay Bannon, who was looking for a job while his wife was attending a cooking school at Le Cordon Bleu. And in his spare time, he started building a search engine for her growing list of recipes. Well, the precursor of Elasticsearch was called Compass. He open sourced Elasticsearch, created an Elasticsearch IRC channel, and waited for users to appear. And then the response was very impressive. Users took to it naturally and easily, and adoption went through the roof. The community started to form, and people noticed, namely Steven Schuurman, that person, Yuri Bones, and Simon Wilnauer. And this is a picture of them. And well, they're very happy because, look very happy because it's such a success. Well, the thing is, it happened to be that in 2012, there were also two other open source projects going on, and they were called Logstash and Kibana, and that's the visualizing part of Elasticsearch. So then it turned into a Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana stack, and that is called the ELK stack. Well, in 2016, they bundled their commercial plugins. They called it Shield, Marvel, and Watcher, and they bundled it into one set, which is called XPack. And this is actually a commercial pack or plugin set you can buy. It consisted of features like security, monitoring, and alerting for their core products. Well, and after this huge success in 2018, Elastic went to the New York Stack Exchange. So I wonder where this picture is taken, but maybe after that. So how to install Elasticsearch in Drupal? You should use the Elasticsearch connector. This is the contrib module for that. It happens, I still got some errors when trying to install this for Drupal 9. So just have to figure out what was going wrong for that. But then if you installed it or first installed Elasticsearch itself, it looks like this in your local host. So that's all very easy, very quick, and you should just download the code and follow the instructions, install instructions. And then what do you get? Well, also you have to, apart from Elasticsearch, if you want to visualize it, you can install Kibana, which is the visualizing part, and that's, well, there you see it. Kibana is very, very overwhelming. It looks very slick and well, let me see if I can show you something. Oh, wait, that's over here. Yes. Well, this is the Kibana part. And as you can see, there you have a dashboard over there, and you can customize it for your own needs or your project. there are a lot of options. You can add filters. Well, so you can mainly do whatever you want. There is so much. This is the logs part. Well, it's overview. So you should really try out and see if it fits your needs. For me, it was kind of overwhelming. Because I'm more used to the Solr part actually, which we'll discuss after this. But it's as you can see, it looks very nice and clean, and also nice font and nice images. So this is really worthwhile trying. Well, if you go further, then we have a brief history of Solr. Something I hope you've seen the logo, but this is logo of Solr. Well, this was actually created by Yannick Seely in 2004 at CNET Networks as an in-house project to add search capability for the company website. In January 2006, CNET decided to openly publish the source code by donating it to the Apache Software Foundation. And like any new Apache project, it entered an incubation period which helped solve organizational, legal, and financial issues. Well, in January 2007, Solr graduated from incubation status into a standalone top-level project, and it grew steadily with accumulated features, thereby attracting users, contributors, and committers. Although quite new as a public project, it powered several high-traffic websites. In September 2008, Solr 1.3 was released, including distributed search capabilities and performance enhancements, among many others. Then in January 2009, Yannick Seely, along with Grant Ingersoll and Eric Hatcher, joined Lucidworks. It was the first company providing commercial support and training for Apache Solr search technologies. And since then, support offerings around Solr have been abundant. In 2009, release of Solr 1.4 came out. And this version introduced enhancement in indexing, searching, and faceting, along with many other improvements such as rich document processing, for example, PDF, Word, HTML, and search results clustering based on Caret2, and also improved database integration. Then in March 2010, the Lucene and Solr projects merged. This was also actually the time that that Elasticsearch was really brought to next level, and Solr became a Lucene sub-project, as Elasticsearch is too. Separate downloads continued, but the products were now jointly developed by a single set of committers. In 2011, the Solr version number scheme was changed in order to match that of Lucene, and after Solr 1.4, the next release of Solr was labeled 3.1. Then in October 2012, Solr 4 came, in 2015, Solr 5, in April 16, Solr 6, and well, now these days we're here on Solr 8. And this one was released including many bug fixes and component updates. Solr nodes can now listen and serve HTTP2 requests. And well, what does it look like? Well, this is if you have downloaded, you can just download the code. You have to pick the right Java version. Then if I'm going to, it comes with an built-in Jetty server, so that's nice, very easy to install. You can create multiple cores. So, for example, here we have my example core. What I find very nice about this is that you have a good a graphical user interface. It's not as well, in my opinion, not as slick or neat as the Elasticsearch look and feel, but I somehow, for me, it's very clear what the meaning is of it all. Oh, yeah, still have 5 minutes. So you can execute queries from here if you only want to see several lists. You can put it in here. You can also a very important thing is you can do analysis. So you, for example, you want to see what's happening if you well, let's have an engram text field. What's happening if you fill in words like DrupalCon? What's happening with it? Well, this is how it's being queried. You can also see if you put this in the index field, a good analysis. So this is very valuable, in my opinion. So picking Solr is for install. For me, installing it was much more easier than Elasticsearch because it's just one thing you have to do, and in Elasticsearch you have to install the different parts if you want some more plugins or more functionality. But I have a few questions actually for you, and I'm not sure if I'm going to see it on the good browser. And I hope you can just maybe you can send your answers in the chat, and then we can discuss that. What is it? Have you been using Solr much more or more Elasticsearch, or haven't you used none of them yet? And what were your considerations? Why did you choose one, or why did you choose the other, or what are you still thinking about? I'm going to see if I can see your answers somewhere. Not yet. You see it? No. I'm going to ask my colleague. I'm using both. Always use Solr. Customers start to move towards Elasticsearch. Solr is still considered default, but we felt module is still not very stable. Okay. Yes, and what? Yes. We use almost exclusively Solr. We're having one project, but many sites are depending on end of life Solr version. Yes. So, and what is what experience did you have, for example, Eduardo, when it was not very stable? Can you tell me that? Elasticsearch mostly started with Solr, but AS is way easier to set up personalized, especially when I don't use Search API custom integration. Yes, that is true. Yes. For simple sites, Solr. For more complex requirements for search, Elasticsearch. There's only 1 minute left. So I see that there are a lot of different opinions why you should you want to choose one or the other. I tried Solr a few years ago and found it a right pain to install and use. I found Elasticsearch far easier, so have used it since. Yes, that's it's actually what I hear more often, that people find Solr hard to install. So maybe that is something Solr could work on, because I actually find it very easy, but somehow this is maybe not attractive enough, or it's maybe the documentation isn't clear enough. Well, that could be something to learn from. Someone else says, we in FFW prefer to use Solr, but I'm not sure why. Can you give us your opinion? Yes. Well, I think mostly it's because it also evolves from something you got used to, or you start working at a company and they use Solr or Elasticsearch there. If you're very used to it and you work for a couple of years over there, you go to a new company, then probably you will recommend the thing you already know, as it goes with a lot of things. So then you start recommends, yeah, you should really use Solr. It's so easy. I'll help you, and then it happens to be the main your first choice. I think that's also how it went with me. But if you happen to oh, there's one more question from my colleague. Do you have any good tips, like when should I use Elasticsearch or Solr? What is pros and cons for both of them? Yes. Well, if you want to customize the, I think the Elasticsearch visualization plugin, Kibana, is very nice to give more insights for also non-developers and other persons at your company that want to have a quick view. And so I think that is very valuable. And also, so that would be a recommendation for Elasticsearch. If you want to do complex queries as yourself, as a developer, then it's and you are used to the Solr the Solr graphical user interface, then it's probably easier to do that. But that, yeah, it happens to be what you like more. Yeah, and I have to finish now because I'm already running out of time. So thank you very much for your attention, and